Hello and welcome to the Mind, Body, Soul show, where we talk everything that helps you be able to manage in your life, maybe that little bit more than you have previously, where we talk topics to do with the mind, helping you in areas that may cause you some struggle, some challenge, the body, the thing that everybody needs to look at and doesn't want to. And then we also go down the beautiful path of the soul. So the Mind, Body, Soul show, and I'm Gwenda Smith, your host. Welcome along today. And I'm delighted today to say that we have a lady from the States, Meshell Baker. Meshell brings to us clarity around business. Now, we know that in this particular time of the world, shall we say, there are so many more women in business, in different levels of business and areas of business. And there are so many of you who are also juggling the world between children, husband, business. And it's not an easy thing to do. And one of the things that comes up most of all is your confidence. So finding your confidence, finding your clarity, being able to really get out there and make that difference that you want to be able to do. Oh, sometimes there can be some pretty big hurdles and challenges. Well, my beautiful guest that I bring to you today, she is going to open so many avenues for you to be able to find your way through confidence and clarity of getting you to where you want to be. Meshell Baker is an award-winning speaker. She's an award-winning sales and confidence coach. And if there's anyone that could take you to where you'd like to be in your business, it's Meshell. Now, I'd like Meshell to be able to tell you more about herself, and we will talk about how she can help all of us get that little bit more in our business and step us up to where we would really like to be. So, Meshell, please come on forward and tell us about yourself. I'm delighted to have you here this morning.
Well, good morning, everyone. And it's so good to be here with you, Gwenda. Thank you so much for this opportunity to speak to your audience, to share principles that will help them to continue to have success in the midst of our current situation and economy that's happening on a global level. And I just, again, just really, it's been a pleasure to meet you and stay in contact and connect with you after all of these months, having met in London. So we were both on different continents from where we reside, and to be connected. This shows you what's happening in our world right now, that there is no distance that we cannot span with technology, which is making it absolutely incredible. I am here in Austin, Texas, in the States, and what I do is I work with people to help them create sales confidence. And what that is, it's sales is one of those areas that you can do exceptionally well in. It changes your life. You can create whatever you want when it comes to selling. The struggle is that it's so difficult for so many people because sales is an emotion, right? And what we're taught is strategy. We're taught to strategically go about finding enough clients, filling our pipeline, doing the follow-up, making enough calls, so we're taught a strategy when sales is actually an emotion. So what I do is help people to marry the two so that they can have lasting long-term success and feel really good while doing it.
It is such a complex area, really, isn't it, Meshell, when we want to be successful, particularly when we want to step forward and juggle life to be a successful business person, not only a business in your own right, but perhaps you're working for another company. Meshell is also a mentor and is able to help people who are actually employed by someone else to be able to bring them forward more in the work that they're achieving. But the greater thing that she was just referring to there is the difference it makes for you as a person. So for you as a person, being able to expand with your awareness of what sales really means, this is where you bloom. This is where you really step up and find out magical things about yourself that you possibly didn't know before. Because when you get bogged down in those techniques and the strategies that Meshell was referring to, we get lost. And all the aim is to do that strategy right. Isn't that right, Meshell?
Absolutely. It's and what I love, as you mentioned, Gwenda, with what I do is I marry well with business owners, sales leaders, and sales professionals that don't necessarily have either the formal training, because what the company's budgets allow them is a space where they actually teach you about their product, their offering, their service, and how to strategically look at their current client base and expand that. So that's strategy. What they rarely ever touch is the fact that that person selling is a person. And that person has dreams and desires and insecurities and fears and doubts and hopes that are not being addressed in most of what the sales training does. And that's where I love, that's the ooey gooey icky that I like to get in and get my hands dirty and just mold it into something absolutely amazing. My best compliment is when people get on the phone and tell me my wife or my husband or my kids or my family has noticed the difference in who I am being. And that's it, because sales is meant to create a life you love, right? And living that life as someone you love is more important than anything else.
Oh, you beat me to it there, Michelle. I was going to say the more that you evolve in the arena of sales, the more you can find out about yourself and become someone other than the person that you began as, which is usually the person trying to achieve the budgets, trying to achieve what the boss wants, or what the perhaps you've got a business coach and they're telling you that you have to achieve this much each month, or maybe your accountant has got those figures out in front of you, and it just takes you right away from the passion that you start with, the reason that you began, either in your business or even as a salesperson working for someone
Mm-hmm.
else. You know, years ago, I was working for a company here in Perth, and I was the only female. Can you imagine that? I was the only female in the sales team here in Western Australia. Well, that was just a red flag to a bull for me. I was going to take those boys on and show them who was going to be the leader in the sales in the business. And that I did. I ended up being the sales manager for 3 states in Australia. So a job well done, I thought. And it certainly challenged me in many ways and showed me just what I could achieve. And that's what I like about sales, Michelle. Would you say that it is a fantastic way for people to really find out what they can achieve that they might not have thought possible?
Oh, yes, absolutely. And congratulations on utilizing and leveraging sales for exactly what it's meant to do. It's meant to have us to step into a bigger dream, right? We dream of a life we love. And, I tell people, to be truth, I say sales is a transaction that usually involves money. So just be honest and say you want more money, right? Because when you're honest with what you want, you're more likely going to get it. And yeah, it does afford us to have more creature comforts, to travel better, to live in a better neighborhood, to provide more for our family, our children, and ourselves. And yes, I absolutely love it. I actually discovered self development through sales because I worked in the pharma industry for Fortune 500 companies, and they brought in consultants, kind of like what I do now, which is absolutely amazing. And I was able to listen and read some books and discover that I had this unconscious mind that was always working. And at the time, it wasn't necessarily working in my favor. There was a critic that was happening, and going through and learning and turning that voice into someone who partners with me now is one of the hardest things for every adult to do. I tell people the hardest thing for us to do is become the person we're capable of being, because you're working against an inner voice that many of us didn't even know were where. We know it's happening. We don't necessarily know why. And that's the fun part of what turns sales into a game and into a space where you can really enjoy yourself. And when you enjoy yourself, that's what you're selling. People buy you before they buy a product, a service, or an offering. So the more you enjoy and love what you do, the more you attract and become a magnet for more opportunity.
You couldn't have put that better, Meshell. It's the arena of sales. If people could understand as the way that you're putting it forward here for us today, the arena of sales is incredible. I love the area too that you were talking about with the icky sticky part, and you really get your fingers and get yourself right into it, because you then go over into the area of my work that I'm so very passionate about, and that is helping people be able to find their true greatness, their true potential. But who would have thought that having a job as a sales representative, a sales manager, could actually do that? And I've got to say that over the years that I was in hospitality, that I've been involved in sales, and even as you go, you don't even have to be involved in sales from a work perspective to experience how someone else is working in their job as sales. Every time you go to a store, you experience someone in sales. But if they're only in it because it's a job, then you are experiencing someone who has not gone down that wonderful route of really discovering what they are in that role and how much they can evolve themselves and develop, particularly emotionally and mentally. And these are two of my favorite areas. So, Meshell, I'd like you to talk to us about the emotional side of a person that can develop and evolve resilience, sustainability in their life, their relationships, first and foremost, of course, with themselves. But bring to us some of your beautiful wisdom, Meshell, about how sales can actually help you on an emotional level and then into mental.
Yeah. Well, thank you for that question. And resilience is something that, as we have as we have been blessed with so much technology, which allows us to get so many things done in so little time, that allows us to have that ability to multitask because you have this program running here and that program, it has taken away that natural ability, right? Remember, our world was farmed and it was discovered by our ancestors. All of us come from continents where there was some discovery or creation that went on, and some endeavors in, the slightest bit of tools or products or resources around. And that resilience is what makes you resourceful, right? It inspires and drives you in the face of difficulty, obstacles, challenges, setbacks, and failures to get up and believe that it can be done no matter what. And the way I remind people, the way you acquire resilience is generally through either your circumstances that are difficult and you have this, what we call the mustard seed of belief. And the other way is you can cultivate it by creating a clear and compelling vision and taking that vision and deciding that no matter what, that is what you are going to do, be, or have, and make that your focus, your linear laser focus. Generally, why people don't have resilience is because they're focused on too many things, and or their focus is not something that is internally driven. Like you say, you do that mind soul work. When it comes from inside of you, when you've listened to the voice inside of you, it will guide you, right? And that's why when I have big behind me, it's a quick acronym that I remind people when you are struggling to think about B, and this is how you can create resilience. B, what do you believe in the moment of the fear, the overwhelm, the doubt, the second guessing, right? The critics, the naysayers. What do you believe? That's coming from inside of you, right? And when you can get to that and hold that belief, then the I is imagine it going well. Your imagination makes you infinite. We don't use our imagination the way it was given to us. Look at a 3 or 4-year-old child, give them a toy, and they'll play with the box and they'll be the king of a universe because they use their imagination the way it was gifted to us by our creator, right? They use it in favor of creating the amazing, the wonderful, the incredible. So what do you believe? Imagine favorable, fortuitous, and incredible outcomes. There's infinite. Remember, there's more than one way to get to any definite destination. There's an infinite number of ways. So use your imagination to create the infinite in your mind. And then G is be grateful that it's already done. As soon as you decide on a clear, compelling decision that no matter what, that's your destination, be grateful because heaven and earth and universe have gone to work on your behalf. And that's why I have the BIG behind me. It's a quick way when you're feeling, I tell people the reason you struggle is because you're trying to figure out how most of the time. And your limited mind, instead of allowing your imagination to give you an infinite number of ways, and it just calms you and you're like, not as big a deal that you thought it was in the beginning. And that's one of the ways to begin to cultivate resilience in the face of circumstances, situations, and people.
Well, everybody, please stay with us because we're going to go on a short break and we'll be back soon with Meshell to talk to us more around clarity, more about how much sales can change your life and what it's like to really work with someone who is a clarity and confidence coach who can bring your life to levels you might never have thought of. So,
when the going gets tough, advertising is a must. Thousands of potential customers make buying decisions every day based on advertising they've seen or heard on radio and television. Are you losing sales because potential customers don't know what you offer? Get your business, product or service in front of thousands of potential customers with a joint advertising package on Power FM and PTV Channel O. Capture a multimedia audience with our affordable radio, TV media advertising package. Stay ahead of the pack by contacting Barry on 0431 390 920 or email feedback@ptvchannelo.com or Jeff at powerfmtoowoomba@gmail.com.
If you've lost your income or had a change of earning capacity through no fault of your own and are struggling with debt that you can no longer handle, you probably feel a bit like this ant. If the struggle is getting you down and you feel overwhelmed, there is an answer. Central Liaison has helped thousands of people break free of the debt struggle by handling their debt for them. Freeze all interest, stop the harassing calls from the bank and start enjoying life again. Call them today on 0409 344 070 for a confidential, obligation-free chat about how Central Liaison can help you take your life back. The number again, 0409 344 070. Call them now.
Have you got a wedding, birthday, corporate event, or even a school disco coming up? Well, make your special occasion memorable. A professional DJ and compere really makes a difference, so go crazy! With Crazy Kevin, International DJ. He's available for all your entertainment needs. Just call 0459 336 832 or email crazykevindj@gmail.com.
welcome back, everyone, as we pick up again with Meshell Baker from Austin, Texas, who's leading the way for us. And she is a great leader in sales success, in being able to build your confidence, your mindset to get you to understand that you are infinite in everything you can achieve as a salesperson. But we want you to think broader than that, because everything that Meshell brings to you in regards to clarity around business, sales success in business. She's an award-winning sales achiever and confidence coach. So everything that she brings to us today actually flows over into your life and is going to make life itself so much more of a fun ride while you're achieving fantastic things. So before we went on the break, we were talking, Meshell, we were talking about the emotional side of the growth as you develop in sales. But we mentioned a little bit earlier about that little voice that's not always helpful when we're trying to do things. I like to think of that voice as being like the naughty kid up the back of the bus. You know, the one that always causes trouble and havoc and everybody else gets into trouble because of that kid. So when we've got that voice in the back of our head, if we listen to it too much, can really take us away from achieving. So Meshell, you talk to us about mindset and how we can go forward and how we can expand our mindset. And I love the analogy of the kid with a box. It is brilliant. But what else can you bring to us, Meshell, in regards to our mindset and the importance of that when you want to be a sales leader, when you want to be an achiever in that arena?
Yeah, well, thank you for that question. I love talking about mindset. Just to give you a little background, I am the product of teenagers who had to get married in my aunt's living room. So my first recognition of life was around 4 when they were telling the joke of the fact that they had to get married because I was the mistake. So all I heard as a 4-year-old was that I was a mistake. So I went on to make lots of mistakes in my early youth. I ended up incarcerated by the time I was 20. And it was because I allowed that voice that's inside of me, instead of it to champion me and help me to move past life circumstances and situations, to use my imagination in my favor, I was put in a situation that caused it to be my critic. And what I teach people, and it's not anything that I learned in a book, it's what I've learned through my years and through my training, is to how to condition ourselves to have that voice work in our favor. There is no shortcut to turning your unconscious into your champion. And that's the challenge. People want the results without the work. It requires a daily consistency. It's like compound interest. If you think about it, if you took $100 and you invested it once a year versus if you took that $100 and spread it evenly and invested it over the year, the compound interest of daily investment versus once a year investment, once a week investment, once a month investment, it shows up 100% of the time. You cannot beat it. And this is what people want. Everyone has 100 billion brain cells easily. In our lifespan, we will use less than 1% of our mind's capacity. The only way to tap into that infinite genius that exists inside of each one of us is the consistent daily practice of mindset. They call it mindfulness, the mindfulness work. Brene, who is it? No, she does the 5-second rule. I just drew a blank on her name, but she has done research and looked at every self-made billionaire has a morning routine. The first thing in the morning, they make themselves, right? So think about when you get in a car. Even nowadays, people still use their GPS because when you live in a highly populated place, there could be accidents, there could be traffic, there could be road work or stoppages. So using your GPS in your car is the standard now because it reroutes you to the shortest distance between 2 points, right? It's the eye in the sky that gives you guidance on where to go. Well, getting up in the morning, creating your GPS for where you want to go with your life is mandatory. Without it, your unconscious is going to pick up what the first thing you do. So if you go to social media, that becomes your first most important thing. If you go to your emails, then your work. So you run around putting out bushfires everywhere instead of having a laser target and using all of that energy in your favor. So the one thing I tell people is your mindfulness work first thing in the morning. If you cannot give yourself minimally 10 minutes every morning, you don't want what you say you want. I won't even work with you if you won't give yourself 10 minutes. And I tell people, you don't even have to tell me if you're doing it. It only takes 2 weeks of calls and I know if you're doing it. You don't even have to tell me because your responses, how you respond to me, the questions you ask, everything about you begins to change.
Absolutely, Meshell, absolutely. And I see it all the time, like you do. And I love, again, how you express that people just want that quick fix. They want everything to happen overnight. What they don't realize, and as you've explained your pathway from what you heard as a little girl, by the time we get to 20, we have got so much baggage, so many layers, that we don't even know what we're capable of. We don't even know what we have going on in our own mind that we own, or we don't. Most of the time we don't own it. Something else is driving it, other things that have happened, that have taken place, and they drag us back into that space. So same, Meshell, it is so important every morning. My thing that I say to people is I open the curtains and I go, look out world, here I come. And good morning world. So one of the ladies thought that was hilarious and took it away and put it into practice for her. And she wasn't aiming to be successful in sales. She was just aiming to be successful in her life. And she said it changed her life dramatically, just having that different attitude when she got up. And I say to people, shift gears in your attitude, because if you don't, you're going to spin your wheels and you get nowhere. And it begins from the minute you open your eyes, before you've even put your feet on the ground. So when you check in with yourself and you see what that kid at the back of the bus is saying, and also what your body is saying, you know, the poetry of the body is incredible. Your body is a beacon, it's a messenger for you. So our start of our day, Meshell, will determine our results in every aspect of things. So if we want to be the very best in a sales position, if we want to have great clarity, great confidence in ourselves, then we must come back to how we begin our day. So have you got 3 perhaps, or maybe 5 tips that you'd like to give people, Meshell, for starting their day?
Okay, yes. My first tip is everybody has a smartphone. So you have your smartphone. We use it as an alarm, most of us. I actually have on there myself reading my visions. If you do not have a vision and you'd like to know more about vision, I have a link that I can send you where you can write a vision, and affirmations. So affirmations are I am statements of belief in yourself. So I have those as well, but I have those recorded. So before my feet ever hit the floor, the first thing I do is listen to something that inspires me for why I'm getting up. It reminds me that I'm getting up. The other thing I tell people is have water. Water is actually a conductor of energy. So drinking a full glass of water helps to wake you up. It also helps to lubricate your brain. Is actually, I believe, it's 72% water. So hydrating yourself first thing in the morning is vitally important. Being willing to exercise, endorphins. People, if you look at many leaders of some of the top organizations and companies, they're athletically fit. They tend to look like they could be extreme athletes because they understand the whole connection of mind, body, and soul. It gives you more energy. It gives you more mental acuity. It helps you to be able to be solutions oriented. So having some type of exercise routine. Now, if you're not an exerciser, no big deal. 15 minutes a day walk can change your body in no time. So starting somewhere small. The other thing is gratitude. Remember, the reason why you're feeling overwhelmed, frustrated, fear, jealous, anger is because you're looking at the problem, right? Instead of seeing the possibility. The reason you have a problem is it's meant for you to be your own solution. And the quickest way to find your solution is to say thank you. Thank you, because this allows me to use my 100 billion brain cells. I get to create a solution. So start saying thank you for all of the things, because everything is working in your favor. Yes, we're meant to have joy, and you're meant to find joy amidst all circumstances, situation, and people. I even tell people, when people get angry, well, I get up every day and say thank you. I get to be a blessing. So the fact that you're upset with me, I know it's not me, because I've been practicing this for years. And what it allows me to do, it allows me to expand my belief in who I am. I get to give you that person's gift. I'm like, oh, so you're the reason I got up today. I get to give you a little joy. Come over here and get some of this goodness, right? So those are some of the tips. And I tell people, it's start with 10 minutes. That's the biggest thing I recommend. Is when you hear people like me and Gwenda and other people, we generally are telling you we're like by ourselves for like an hour, 2 hours in the morning, right? But we've been doing this for years. And what I learned from one of my mentors that helped me was just 10 minutes. He said, don't worry about expanding the time. He said, focus on the consistency. Just make it your standard that as soon as you wake up, you give yourself 10 minutes. The amazing part is every client I've ever done this with, I've never had to tell them to expand. You don't even have to tell yourself to expand. Your unconscious mind is so smart, you'll do it on your own because it's going to deliver. That 10 minutes is going to deliver so much goodness in your life. You're going to start to go, oh my God, what if I did 20, right? What if I promise you, just do the 10 minutes.
Thank you, Meshell. Now, everyone, hold on to your seats. Stay right there. We'll be back very soon. We'll take a short break and come back from some wonderful stuff for you again on clarity, confidence, and surprises. So see you soon.
Oz Hosting is proud to support Switched On IT in bringing practical help to Australian businesses. We're talking to literally hundreds of businesses every day about their IT services, how to make them more efficient, how to make their businesses more efficient, and how to protect their valuable data. If you'd like your IT services securely hosted right here in Australia and expertly managed, talk to Oz Hosting.
Power FM is total entertainment. From the morning drive with Fiona and Jeff to the drive home with Jeff Black. On the weekends, catch the Crazy Kevin Show, Dennis Mitchell's Breakfast with the Beatles, the Semi-Pro Sports Show, and Racing Nation with James O'Shea, plus the music you grew up with. Keep your radio dial locked on Toowoomba's Power FM, celebrating 10 years. You'll find us at 88.0 on the FM dial or online at www.powerfmradio.com.au.
Every week on PTV Channel O, we take a frank look at computers, the internet and social media on Switched On IT. Join our international team of experts every Tuesday at 7 p.m. to learn what makes the internet and social media tick and how to keep your business safe online while making the most of this exciting media. Discover a whole new world of entertainment Tuesday night at 7 p.m. on ptvchannelo.com or download the PTV Channel O app.
Welcome back, everyone, as we pick up again for some more fantastic wisdom, knowledge, tips, everything you could possibly want to be able to bring into your life more clarity, confidence. Who doesn't want more confidence? But to be able to excel when it comes to everything in your life, but particularly around sales. Sales can be really tough going, but when you know how to drive yourself, then your sales will happen so easily. They will flow like a beautiful river, easily come to you. There is no struggle. There is no worry about how you're going to meet a sales budget when you have these strategies in place. Now, I'm going to say that I'm not a big fan of the word strategies. It makes me go, and seems to constrict me, which I'm sure it does a lot of other people. But when you have the kind of attitude that Meshell has been bringing to us and that we've shared with you together, there's no longer that around the word like strategies and having to put serious things in business. You allow yourself through your own fantasticness and your own greatness to shine. Everything else just follows. You don't have to chase it. You don't have to worry about it. Now, before we went on the break, Meshell was letting us know how 10 minutes in the morning is all you need to get yourself into the best day ever. Meshell, I'm thinking about people out there that are going, oh, right, yeah. You haven't got 4 kids, 5 kids, a husband, or, a partner, or a very demanding dog that is telling me I want to go for my walk. So, Meshell, how do these people get over that 10-minute hurdle where they can really feel they are important enough to do that 10 minutes?
Thank you. Great question. And yes, this is something that I hear quite often, especially like you said, the people who have the small and the young kids or the spouses. And the only thing I could say is this is where the vision, having a vision of something greater that is driving you from the inside out is what will make that 10 minutes matter, right? And sometimes it means just creating a vision of this life that you love and being so clear on it. And then that's why I said you can read it or listen to it every day. Doing that first will help you find the 10 minutes. right? What
And you
you're
know what I
doing is
like
you're
to,
creating
sorry.
an internal drive so that you can, so sometimes it's the reverse. Sometimes you'll start with the 10 minutes and then you'll create the vision. Then the other way is to, the 10 minutes will come because your purpose and your desires become so great, then you will make that 10 minutes happen no matter what.
That is so true, Meshell. And you mentioned earlier about having water and the importance of having water. It is a conduit, it is a carrier of energy, it sparks up energy. Well, I'd like to say to everyone that likes to think they don't have the 10 minutes, when you want to be somebody different or you want to achieve something outside of what you can see right in front of you, so the demands of children, the demands of a spouse, or even a pet. I know a lot of people, their pet is their child, so they can have a lot of demands. If you would bring your energy, if you would bring your way of thinking and what you want to set in place for the day, bring that out with you when you get out of bed and bring that into the greeting of the morning to everyone who is in your home, even your pet. Because your energy and your way of thinking, Meshell mentioned how many brain cells we have, your way of thinking is going to determine your day. But your way of thinking actually has an energetic vibration, proven by our great scientists these days, has a tremendous impact on everyone else around you. So until you can get yourself into that 10-minute space, Meshell, would you agree that it is worthwhile having it in your mind? So knowing your affirmations, hearing them in your mind. So choose some that are easy for you to remember and have them in your mind so that as you go about your morning, seeing to the kids, seeing to the spouse or the pet, that is still playing in your mind. And that will help you get into the routine of the 10 minutes for yourself. It'll also help everyone else in your home. What do you say about that, Meshell?
Oh, absolutely. Yes. And I was, even as you were saying, the 10 minutes, I've had people start with 5 because it's the consistency is what you're looking for. You're looking to start with, because I tell, inch by inch, anything is a cinch. Yard by yard, everything is hard. So you're looking to make little shifts that give you big results. The other thing, you have a bathroom mirror, especially when I work with women, right? So I work with women between the ages of like 40 and 60, right? And if you're like, you know, in our society, anything that's over 25 or 22 is considered old, right? We're buying all the products to try to quote unquote look young. So I have them put affirmations on the mirror because that's the first place where people tend to get up and tear themselves apart, right? So make the bathroom mirror your friend. So if you can't do the 5 minutes, put a list of like 5 or 10 affirmations on your bathroom mirror. So as you're washing your face and brushing your teeth, you are saying something positive to yourself. So there's so many little ways that you can step in and start to create, because what you're doing is you're taking a spark of desire and you're stoking it until it goes whoosh, and the flame will come. But it's the consistency of the stoking that we need to happen.
That's exactly right. We don't get anywhere. And as I say to people, if you want to run a marathon, you want to run an Ironman competition, you want to play the piano like Beethoven, you sure can't do that overnight either. So consistently practicing, consistently showing up, consistently being there in your mind first, and then into your practices so that it flows consistently. Meshell, what's one of the greatest things that you can tell our viewers clarity will bring for them?
Well, great, excellent question, because clarity is power. Right now, people think the old adage used to be knowledge is power. Well, that was because we didn't have technology. We didn't have, supercomputers in our pocket on a phone, right? So we used to need to go to the library to get knowledge or take a class. And now we have access to it, and it's not utilized. It's amazing how many people I have a conversation with who don't know anything. And I'm like, did you Google it on your phone? And they're like, oh my God, I never even thought of that, right? But it's clarity, because there's so many things coming at people, they become overwhelmed and they go into indecision, right? They go into fear of failure, right? I don't want to get it wrong. I don't know which one to pick. I don't know is become a phrase that is just so overused right now. And what I tell people is we all know clarity is so powerful. And these consistency of what we're talking to you about, the mindfulness, what it does is it allows you to hear the voice inside of you as is meant to be heard as your guide, so that you can start to trust what's coming from inside of you instead of what's going on outside of you. And it helps to get you on a path that's working in your favor, right? It helps you to start to utilize the 100 billion brain cells. So clarity is absolutely incredible. And just, I tell people, just one of the things that I've seen done by people like Michael Port, who is an incredibly famous author and really works with people, is legacy work. If you don't know exactly what you want right now in the day, who do you, like at the end of your life, who do you want to be like when they come? Because there's one thing that we're all doing, and we're all leaving this earth at some point. How do you want to have left this world better for you having been here? What is the one thing that you would love for people to say about you? Whatever that is, focus on that, and that will give you clarity. Just start walking in that direction, whatever it is.
So true, Meshell. Thank you so much. I often ask my clients to write their own eulogy, but I ask them to write it for what they would like to think people would say about them when they are saying farewell. And then I ask them to write another one about what they think about themselves. And there is often a very big difference between what they would write of what they hope people would say about them at their farewell versus what they would say about them. So it shows them where they're out of alignment with their own self and with their clarity around themselves and what they do want to leave this world with when they depart. So in closing, everyone, what I'd like to say, firstly, though, is a big thank you, Meshell. Thank you so much for being here with us. Thank you for sharing your wonderful insights and wisdom. I hope everyone was writing frantically with all these tremendous tips. But you know what? Even if you weren't, we're going to have here for you Meshell's contact details and opportunity for you to be able to connect with her if you would like to expand your sales success and your ability to achieve, to be an award-winning sales professional. Maybe you'd like to be an award-winning speaker, as Meshell is. Meshell, my apologies, Meshell is. So we're going to give you her information here, and she has very kindly put in a complimentary call for you. So you will have the link here available for you to be able to connect with Meshell and some of her wonderful downloadable tips for you. So Meshell, thank you so much for being here. Thank you, everyone. I hope you have a wonderful day, and remember that you can watch this particular episode on a Wednesday evening, 7 p.m. Brisbane time. You can also see it again on a Thursday morning, Brisbane time, 7 a.m. And you can't get enough of us, so you can go back and you can see on replay when you go to PTV Channel O. So we look forward to seeing you all again next week. Thank you again, Meshell.
Oh, thank you for having me, Gwenda.